Micah Murphy here, administrator, founder, owner, apostle of the New Structure Ministries International. Thank God. The Lord just told me to read 1 Samuel chapter 7. I've read it before. I didn't read it just now. I'm going to read it. It was cool because in my Bible, it was already marked with the blue thread. 1 Samuel chapter 7. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to read it, and we'll just see what the Lord says to you. And the men of Kirjath Jearim came and fetched up the ark of the Lord, and brought it into the house of Abinadab in the hill, and sanctified Eleazar his son to keep the ark of the Lord. And it came to pass, while the ark abode in Kirjath Jearim, that the time was long, for it was 20 years. And all the house of Israel lamented after the Lord. And Samuel spake unto all the house of Israel, saying, If ye do return unto the Lord with all your hearts, then put away the strange gods and Ashtaroth from among you, and prepare your hearts unto the Lord, and serve him only, and he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines. Then the children of Israel did put away Balaam and Ashtaroth, and served the Lord only. And Samuel said, Gather all Israel to Mizpeh, and I will pray for you unto the Lord. And they gathered together to Mizpeh, and drew water, and poured it out before the Lord, and fasted on that day, and said, There we have sinned against the Lord. And Samuel judged the children of Israel in Mizpeh. And when the Philistines heard that the children of Israel were gathered together to Mizpeh, the lords of the Philistines went up against Israel. And when the children of Israel heard it, they were afraid of the Philistines. And the children of Israel said to Samuel, Cease not to cry unto the Lord our God for us, that he will save us out of the hand of the Philistines. And Samuel took a sucking lamb, and offered it for a burnt offering, holy unto the Lord. And Samuel cried unto the Lord for Israel, and the Lord heard him. And as Samuel was offering up the burnt offering, the Philistines drew near to battle against Israel. But the Lord thundered with a great thunder on that day upon the Philistines, and discomfited them, and they were smitten before Israel. And the men of Israel went out of Mizpeh, and pursued the Philistines, and smote them until they came under Bethkar. Then Samuel took a stone, and set it between Mizpeh and Shin, and called the name of it Ebenezer, saying, Hitherto hath the Lord helped us. So the Philistines were subdued, and they came no more into the coast of Israel. And the hand of the Lord was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel. And the cities which the Philistines had taken from Israel were restored to Israel. From Ekron even unto Gath, and the coast thereof did Israel deliver out of the hands of the Philistines. And there was peace between Israel and the Amorites. And Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life. And he went from year to year in circuit to Bethel and Gilgal and Mizpeh, and judged Israel in all those places. And his return was to Ramah, for there was his house, and there he judged Israel, and there he built an altar unto the Lord. Pretty nice, The men of Israel, the people of Israel, went to Samuel and said, Samuel, keep praying for us, keep doing this. And Samuel cried unto the Lord, it says in verse 9, and the Lord heard him. In all the days that Samuel, all of the days of Samuel, it says, the hand of the Lord was against the Philistines. It's pretty powerful when you're walking with the Lord and He was chosen. It's not like, He's just a better person than everybody, but He was chosen and He chose to obey the calling. And God always needs a mediator. A mediator is someone who stands between the man of the earth and Him to mediate. It's kind of like, it's really a legal term. Like your lawyer, say you had something going on and you were, it was between you and a person, and the lawyer would be the mediator between y'all, usually. And it just keeps everything, in the law, under how the laws are supposed to be reacted. Now, of course, as children of God, we're really told to not seek to go to the law and the courts of men, to do that. It happens sometimes, but it's a mediator is a legal term, and Samuel was a mediator. He stood between the Lord and the children of Israel, and the Lord heard him. And Moses was a mediator. Jesus was the mediator of the sin debt, and He took it away by His death and resurrection. Yet we also need mediators at times, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes of course, people might watch this and say Jesus is, it's just Jesus, go to Jesus. But sometimes you need someone there to pray for you, to pray with you, to reach out whatever you're going through. You need a mediator. There's nothing wrong with that. So, and sometimes if that person is really walking in truth and has been chosen by God, and they mediate and pray for you, that can really have an impact. If that person's really walking in truth and really the ear of the Lord is attentive, and people can quote verses all day long. I used to do that too, but there were people that I knew that would quote verses all day long and nothing would ever happen. And 10 years later, was still quoting the same verse, and it's like, if this was really like, if you were really tapping into what you're supposed to, then you shouldn't be quoting the same verses from 10 years ago for the same exact thing. I mean, I'm not saying you quit quoting a Bible verse after a certain amount of time, but I think you know what I mean. If you're still struggling and going around the same mountain, so to speak, for 10 years or 20 years, something needs to be dealt with. And you might need a mediator. So that's it. If you'd like to donate, if you're being fed, you enjoy ministry here, go to the website, thesonsofgod.net. Up at the top left, there's 3 bars. Click them. There's numerous. There's like at least 10 pages. There's a give page. And there's other spots you can give. You can email me if you prefer to write a check or in the mail. You can buy my first book there, and I just started writing the second. And you can get on Heaven's Free newsletter. It's a free email that only I see your address. I don't give it out to third parties. And usually a few times a week you'll get an email from the New Structure Ministries of whatever the Lord's speaking to me. So, I hope this helped in any way, and I will see some of y'all soon.